What's good, YouTube? Today I got a super fire destroy lonely tutorial for y'all. Let's get straight into it. Alright, so I got this super fire beat here. I'm gonna break it down for y'all, kind of show you like my thought process and stuff like that. So let's get straight into it. So I started with this guitar out of SRX World. It's the preset called Chorus Twang. It's like an electric guitar, and I laid down this MIDI and it sounds like this. Alright, so what I was focused on when I made this like guitar melody was making it sound super like dark and like ambient at the same time, and also just playing with like perfect fifths and octaves and stuff like that. So I started with the root note of G, and then I played the perfect fifth of it, which is D, playing a power chord, just strumming, I don't know, just playing a unique strum pattern, not very unique, but a strum pattern. Then I layered an octave on top of that, and then I just threw like a top line. And I basically did that same thing with every section of this MIDI. I started with like a root note, like the second half, this is C, and then the perfect fifth is G. Just playing the same type of like strum pattern. Just, yeah, and then playing an octave above and then adding a top line. And then for effects on this first guitar, I threw a guitar rig on it. The guitar rig, the preset is called Granular Joy. The preset really adds a lot of like flavor to like the MIDI and like the guitar. So like without the guitar rig, it sounds like this. It doesn't sound like bad or anything, it just sounds kind of like dry and kind of boring. So the guitar rig, you add it together and it sounds like this. The guitar rig just adds like a different type of like tone to it, different like feel and character to the guitar. And then also I added a delay 3. I think I choose the stereoized preset, and then I turned the master mix down to like 25%. Then I added some EQs, just cleaning up some like the frequencies and stuff. And then next I added this other guitar out of SRX Studio. The guitar is called Heavy Mute SW. It's like a distorted guitar, and it sounds like this. Just like a nice ambient distorted guitar to add like a nice texture to the melody. And for effects on this guitar, I added a portal preset, Feel Like a Champion, out of LMG Essential Rock Portal Bank. Then I added a shaper box, just panning left to right, 50% mix. Then I added an EQ taking out the low end. Next I added this pad out of Xenology. The pad is called Glass Orbit, and it's just playing one note, just ringing out every 2 bars, and it sounds like this. Just like a subtle ambient type of pad to add to the entire melody. And then for this pad I added a portal preset Unstable out of like the bass presets, the like glitchy bank bass preset is Unstable. And then I added a shaper box, same thing, just adding pan, but instead this time I had the mix 100%. Then I added an EQ taking out the low end. Then I added this like sine lead, but it's more of like a pluck, just to add more texture, and that sounds like this. It's nothing like too loud or anything, it's just a nice texture to add to the final melody. For effects on this, I added a delay 3, the ping pong preset, and then a fruity convolver default preset with the mix 100%. And then I added a fruity parametric EQ taking out the low end. And then I added this like lead guitar that plays like halfway through the lead, or halfway through the verse, and it sounds like this. So by itself, this lead guitar I think personally sounds kind of stupid, But whenever I was listening to like If Looks Could Kill, there was a lot of like these super distorted like lead guitars playing in some of the beats. And the preset I used for this guitar is the Searing Guitar 2 out of Xenology. And then for effects, I added Guitar Rig 6 with the preset called Matched Box. And then I added with Fruity Flanger with the preset Deep Flanger. And then Fruity Parametric EQ taking out some of the low end. Then the final sound of this entire melody is this pluck out of Serum. It's out of my upcoming Serum Bank. It's going to be 100% free Serum Bank. It's called the Center Serum Bank, and this pluck is called Pink, and it sounds like this. Just a super, super unique sounding like pluck. And this plays throughout the second verse of the beat, just to add like some more character, so it's not just sounding repetitive. And then for this pluck, I added just a parametric EQ for the mixing. And then I changed the stereo knob, like I messed with the stereo separation and made it 40%. And then that's pretty much it for the entire melody. Altogether, it sounds like this. Just a super ambient type of like alternative guitar sample. And then for drums on this beat, I started with this 808 out of One Scared's new MW2 stash kit. Super, super, super fire kit, so shout out One Scared. And I started with this 808 called Best Bass, and it sounds like this. Just a super, super basic like 808 pattern, because I didn't want to go too crazy, because like these Destroy Lonely type of beats, they don't have like no crazy 808s or anything. It's just a super thick like bass line. And then for effects on this 808, I just added a soft clipper default preset, and then I boosted. I used like this little EQ, the basic like mixer EQ, and I boosted the low end 1% or like 1 dB. 1.3 dB, and then I moved that to like the 50 hertz just to make that like 808 hit even harder and be like thicker. Then I added this clap also out of One Scared MW2 stash kit, and it sounds like this. Then I added this hi-hat pattern with a few rolls in it. Nothing crazy on this hi-hat pattern. I just played around with like rolls and stuff, and then like pitched a few of the notes up and down just to add like a different tone to them. Then I added this open hat that sounds like this. Just a super bouncy open hat pattern that like bounces with the original 808. And for all those, for all the clap, hi-hat, and open hat, I added some type of gross beat AM with like just messing with the like mix volume. That's something I really like to do when making these type of beats, is add like the gross beat preset AM and then mess with the like mix of it. It'll just add like a nice like gritty texture to the open hats and like snares and stuff. It'll just make your beat sound like more dark and like textured and cool and stuff like that, I guess. Then I added this snare out of Venexia Takeover 2. The snare sounds like this. Then I added another snare out of Takeover 2, and it sounds like this. Both of these snares are really like organic sounding, which is exactly what I was going for. Because in these Destroy Lonely type beats, you're going to hear like, Destroy Lonely really likes hopping on these like alternative type of beats. So anytime you can mix like hip hop and like alternative sound together, you can have a perfect Destroy Lonely type beat. So whether that be like using alternative drums mixed with like trap drums, or even just using like actual like organic drums throughout the whole beat, and adding like a trap spin on it, it'll just make your beat sound like, add more to that like Destroy Lonely type of like style. And then the final sound of this drum pattern is this kick out of LMG made it Rock Essentials kit. It's just this kick that sounds like this. This kick just adds like a cool texture to like the drum bounce. And then when you're like mixing these like organic sounding kicks and stuff, I like to add a fruity compressor and then go in there and choose the like preset called drums. It'll just make them hit way harder and sound more full. Instead of just sound like weak organic drums, it'll make them like hit like good like rock organic drums. And then that's it for this drum pattern. Altogether, it sounds like this. Just a super like dirty sounding drum pattern. And that's kind of what you're gonna want to go for in these like if looks could kill type beats, because they're supposed to be like grungy type beats, so you're gonna want to have like dirty sounding drums. And I also forgot to mention, I added this sound effect that sounds like this. It just rings out at the end of every 4 bars. And then also for effects on this sound effect, I added a Fruity Delay 3, the ping pong preset, and I turned the master mix level down to 75%. And then I added a Shaper Box 3, the preset called Pan Mover. It just adds like a cool texture to the sound effect. And then I added an EQ, taking out like a annoying high frequency that was in the original sound. That's it for the entire beat, apart from like a transition every now and then, which just sounds like this. Mixed together with the beat, it really does sound, it adds like a cool dark sounding texture to the drop, and I really like it, so I added it in there. And that's it for this beat. I really enjoyed making this beat. I really enjoy these type of beats. I hope y'all enjoy watching me break this beat down. I hope this inspired you to make some hard beats, and I hope y'all learned something from this. Make sure y'all like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time.